Hey everyone, this is Derek here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to drop up to 3,000 meters away from the plane's flight path after the recent PUBG Mobile 0.7.0 global update. So unfortunately, PUBG Mobile 0.7.0 messed up our 45-degree drop method that we've been using for a couple updates now that reliably got us 1,800 to 2,000 meters. And if you want to watch that, I have a number of old videos showcasing it. It was awesome, and unfortunately now it doesn't work as well. Now it only gets us about 1,600 to 1,700 meters, which is obviously a lot less. And why is dropping far away from the plane important? Well, it allows you to reach places with good loot that other people who don't know the drop method can't reach. And that can give you a huge advantage, especially in the early game. So what we're going to be doing today is exploring some methods to drop further away from the plane. And do know that there is a trade-off here. So as many of you thought in the comments, you guys are correct. The way to drop further away from the plane is to glide further. And after the 0.7.0 update, the easiest way to do that, we can see we're using the 45-degree method right now. It's still the best method, one of the best ones to get far away from the plane. But if we want to reach, let's say 2,000 meters, we need to feather the parachute. And more than that, what we need to do is establish forward velocity with the parachute and then glide. So that's what we just did there. I'm going to show it to you one more time later in this video. So if you're wondering what the heck I just did, don't worry, it's going to be coming back. You'll see it again. And basically, what I did do is I started out using the 45-degree method. Then when I popped my parachute open by pushing the parachute button, I pushed forward. And what that does is it allows you to start gaining some horizontal momentum. That's like speed along the ground. And then once you've done that for a couple seconds, the most efficient way to drop, even though it's the slowest, is to actually do nothing and just let your parachute just take you in that direction until you run out of height. So we're dropping very, very slow at 20 kilometers per hour. And as you can see, we are moving consistently. So how this works is in previous updates, when you did this and you didn't touch the controls, after a while, you'd actually slow down and then drop straight down. But after this update, you keep moving horizontally at a constant speed. So as you can see, we are going pretty far away. Like I said, that 45-degree angle method gives you about 1,600 to 1,700 meters. If you feather the parachute, about 1,800, but that's it. You can see using this method, we dropped on a roof. Let's go ahead and turn around, and you can see that looks like, what, 2,150, 2,160, yeah, 2,150. So that is quite a bit more than we could get if we just used the 45-degree method, and even if we used 45-degree method and then feathered the parachute. This is quite a bit more than that. But there's an issue. So obviously the trade-off is we were in the air a lot longer. And I'm going to be demonstrating this time an even more extreme example. And then we'll talk about why it doesn't really make sense. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm trying to mark my location on the flight path. Once I get to that location, I'm going to go ahead and push jump, and then I'm going to immediately go into a 45-degree method. So I'm immediately going to look up and then point my joystick 45 degrees. So that's either halfway between vertical, up and right, or halfway between up and left. That's what I mean by 45 degrees. And if you're doing it correctly, you'll be dropping at 126 kilometers per hour. And I am popping the chute as soon as I can. So, oh gosh, get ready for some gliding. So you can see once I popped the parachute open, I did hold forward on the control stick. That is to establish some speed horizontally so you don't just drop straight down. That would be very awkward. But know that this method is not super, super practical. Now, it's a lot of fun, but that doesn't make it good. So why is this method not very useful? Well, I mean, it's useful. And honestly, like, you can try to do this and it might work out really well. And you might say you want to reach school, you could easily do that with this flight path. Or if you wanted to reach Rozhok, because school, I think you could have reached just using the 45-degree method if you dropped at the right time with the plane's flight path. But Rozhok, or the sunken city, the water town, no chance of reaching that unless you do this. But there is a trade-off, and like I was saying, the more time you spend in the air, the more time other people have to get weapons and scopes and armor and all that stuff and engage you. Or go down to a road or 100% vehicle spawn, and then grab a vehicle and drive to the place that you're very slowly floating towards. So you can see here that we are still floating through the sky at a blistering rate of 20 kilometers per hour. But what's cool is that we're actually moving horizontally at the same speed, so we're not slowing down. So that's how this method works. And you can do this in the PC version too. But the reason this method works is because you are not slowing down. You're moving at a constant, slow, but constant speed horizontally over the ground. And you can see I'm just looking around there. You can actually watch people. We're almost up to 2,000 meters already. We're almost outside the first circle. And we've been in the air for, I don't know, about what, 2 minutes now or so. So quite a while. So gosh, this is rather tedious. I feel like I should tell you guys like a story or something. If you want me to do that, seriously, if you want me to do like a FAQ, like you guys ask me questions, submit them on the Discord or something, or you just want me to like tell you guys stories and stuff, I don't know. That might sound super lame, but I think it would be fun every once in a while. Anyways, we're outside the first circle. We are still falling at the same rate of speed, still traveling at the same rate of speed, and everybody below us has probably gotten weapons and vehicles and armor and all that by now. You can see there's a kill. I think that's the first kill of the game, or it's a knockout, and then that's a kill. But I think that was the first of the game. You can look around, wave to the people who are in the cities before you, like Pachinki or something many people could reach. But this is a demonstration. This is to show you that this method does work. So you can see we're even landing on a hill. So we could have even dropped further if we landed like near the water, but I don't want to adjust my direction because I don't want to mess up that 20 kilometers per hour. So anyways, like I said, one of the most fun ways to drop, in that you can go super far away from the plane now after the 0.7.0 update, there is 2,841 meters. And if we were dropping on a flat zone, you can get about 3,000 using this method. However, is it practical? Not super practical. What would I recommend instead? That's what we're going to jump to now, and that is using a vehicle spawn, 100% vehicle spawn, to instead grab a vehicle and then drive to where you want to go outside the plane's flight path. So let's jump to that right now. So here we are again on one of my favorite websites, and that is PUBGmap.io. I have no connection to them. However, I do use this site as well as PUBGmap.com for a ton of video ideas as well as research into drop or loot locations. And what we're going to be using it for today is the 100% vehicle spawn locations. So these are the garages, and I actually made a video about this about a week or two ago. However, I do want to mention it again because I think it's that important. So I just showed you how to drop 3,000 meters after the PUBG Mobile 0.7.0 global update, or very close to 3,000 meters. And although that method is fun, and I do recommend trying it out once or twice just to see how you do, the much better way to get to a spot that you can't reach, so I recommend using the 45-degree method, which will get you about 1,600 to 1,700, and then feathering the parachute. So by feathering the parachute, I mean pushing that little control stick back and forth, not just leaving it dead center after you build up speed and then floating at 20 kilometers per hour, because that's too slow. Instead, I recommend keeping it about 30 to 35. And if you do that method correctly and you're dropping near flat ground, you should get about 1,800 to 1,850 meters. That's going to be as good as you can do. So what you want to do now, knowing that, is let's say we have a plane flight path just about like that. So each one of these dots, each one of these little red dots with a car in it, represents a 100% vehicle spawn. So that means that a vehicle will always spawn in here. It's usually a Dacia that tends to spawn inside these garages, or it could be a motor. It could be anything, honestly. But here we go. These are the locations. So what do I recommend? Let's say you want to drop to Yasnaya on this flight path, which if we can measure the distance between here and here, that looks like 2,200 meters. So actually, that's not as bad as I thought. You could almost reach that just feathering the parachute. Actually, you could reach that if you just pop it and then use the 20 kilometer per hour method, like the first drop we looked at with this video. You can actually reach there. Let's pick somewhere a little bit further. We'll go back over here like that. So Vernie is just about 3,000 meters. So you could reach this using that drop method and then just floating for a very long time. Or what I would recommend to do instead is use the 45-degree method, get on the ground and drop where there is a 100% vehicle and then drive up there. You'll beat the people who are dropping very slow, and you'll also be the only people there unless someone else does this method too. So what I would recommend would be targeting one of these guys right here. So either this garage or maybe this garage or this one. It would probably be best if you targeted either this guy, this one, or this one. Or this one even. Any of these really are decent for it, and then drive up to Severny, and then you can loot it in peace. So very, very much that's what I would recommend over using the 3,000 meter method, just because of the speed of it. However, if you're wondering how to drop 3,000 meters in the game after 0.7.0, now you do know that it is possible. It takes a while, and perhaps it's not the most exciting if you're not being told the story, but it works, and it is a legitimate drop method. So there you have it, how to drop up to 3,000 meters and what I would do instead. So again, just one more time to recap, what I would do instead is use that 45-degree method, feather the parachute if you need to, pick a location that's 1,600 to 1,850 meters away. Those locations should be reachable using that method. And if you want to go further than that, find a 100% vehicle spawn within that radius of circle of 1,600 to 1,850 or so, and then use that vehicle to drive to the location you really want to get to. So if this video helped you out and you learned something, definitely give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends, because that really does help the channel grow, and I certainly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed already, definitely consider doing that now for tons more PUBG mobile content, including gameplay, tips and tricks, loot locations, drop locations, and a whole lot more always coming soon. My name's Derek G, and I hope to see you on the battlefield soon, or in my Discord server, which I'll also leave a link to down below.